say that.
What Sifuna is talking about? Which improper motive?
Allow me to complete.
I want her to repeat what she said so that I can capture.
But
then I can, as you execute your point of order.
Chair, can I complete my point of order?
But you're completing on what ground?
Because what I'm requesting Senator Tabitha to do is to clarify.
Chair. Yes.
What did
Chair, you know some of us.
Chair, let me clarify. You are the chair and you've directed that I speak. You've directed that Senator Mutinda clarifies. Allow me to clarify, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm talking about national dialogue. I'm talking about unity in this country. Is that, Mr. Speaker? Young people have lost their lives, Mr. Speaker. It is sad. We are still mourning, Mr. Speaker. And I think you've directed and said, let us move away and have a motion. I agree with that, Mr. Speaker. I respect that. Allow me to conclude, Mr. Speaker, as far as this is concerned. I want to state and say, EACC, Mr. Speaker, should enforce strict compliance with accountability, Mr. Speaker. As soon as we adopt this report from the devolution committee, as soon as all is done, within 30 days, Mr. Speaker, then this should also be enforced, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know, I didn't know people like my shoes that much because everybody is noticing that I have shoes or not. With those many and few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I do support.
Honorable Senators, I have a communication to make on visiting teachers and students from St. Peter's Boys Mumias Primary School in Kakamega County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of visiting teachers and students from St. Peter's Boys Primary School in Mumias Primary School in Kakamega County. The delegation comprises of 14 teachers and 334 students who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. Honorable Senators, in our issue tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. Thank you. Senator Sifuna, can you welcome the visitors from Mumias Primary School, St. Peter's Boys Mumias?
Honorable Speaker, thank you. I want the students to understand that I was born at St. Mary's Hospital, which is next door to St. Peter's Primary School. So I feel some affinity that somehow the Speaker also noticed. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to welcome the students. As they say, huwa kuna chemuka saa ingine, but you are welcome to the Senate to be able to follow debate on important national matters. We are hoping that when you grow up, some of us started from there in Mumias, and now we are here. So you will also be here. And let nobody tell you that you cannot be here or you cannot be what you want to be. Thank you so much.
Next is Senator Catherine Muma. And after you finish your contribution, you approach the chair for another direction.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I'm a member of the Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, and I stand to applaud Mr. Labano Msundi for his very progressive petitions to this House and to Parliament, petitions that are actually very momentous and very relevant to the times of our country or our nation at the moment. Mr. Speaker, the issues raised by Mr. Labano Msundi in terms of barring the use or the appending of personal images and names on public projects is an important issue that is at the core of the values and principles of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, to be precise, Article 10 requires that the governance system in this country shall be accountable and shall be transparent. Mr. Speaker, Chapter 6 has very key provisions that on leadership and integrity, and when it comes to responsibilities expected of leaders in this country, Article 73(1) requires that leaders shall be honest in the execution of public duties. That is 73, subclause 2C1, that leaders shall be honest in the execution of public duties. Mr. Speaker, when I am advanced or I use public resources to develop a project and then I call it a Catherine Muma project, that is clear evidence of dishonesty. Mr. Speaker, so those who are currently appending their names on public projects are in violation of Chapter 6 of our Constitution. Mr. Speaker, Article 75, 1B is also relevant on this matter. It talks about the conduct of state officers and requires that state officers shall not compromise any public or official interest in favor of personal interest. Mr. Speaker, when I take my picture and take my name and append it on a classroom built by public resources that I have some supervision over, Mr. Speaker, I am compromising public interest for personal gain. And how do I do so? I want those in the public to believe that I am the one who has done that, usually so that they can elect me at the next election. Mr. Speaker, it's a violation of Chapter 6 of the Constitution in clear terms. Mr. Speaker, what Mr. Omsundi raises, and I told him when we were doing public participation that the only thing I regretted about his petition was the fact that he was restricting it to governors and MCAs. This is a petition that actually touches on all, both national and county government officials, including those of us in the parliament who, when executing projects implemented with public resources, we have fallen into the trap of appending our pictures and our names and making the public imagine that we are the ones funding those projects. Mr. Speaker, I believe beyond what we have recommended as a committee, and I would want to call Mr. Omsundi and others who would go for public interest litigation, that any public officer who actually appends their name on public projects should, on the basis of the articles that I have just read, be barred from standing for public office. In fact, they need to be barred from holding any public office. Mr. Speaker, you might be aware that in every law that we have implemented, and I was a member of the Commission for the Implementation of the Constitution, we actually made it a requirement that before anybody is appointed or elected into public office, they should be compliant with Chapter 6 of the Constitution. And I've just demonstrated how what Mr. Laban Musundi is actually talking about is a violation of Chapter 6 of our Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, even as we ask EACC to name and shame, my view is that these should not be enough. These should be one ground against which the IEBC should bar all those officers who are seeking election from seeking election after pretending or dishonestly presenting public projects as though they are their personal projects. Mr. Speaker, this habit or this conduct is flourishing in our country because we have not, 13 years later, 15 years after the promulgation of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, we have not legislated on civic education. We are supposed to invest as a country in civic education to be able to educate the public, the citizens, particularly the vulnerable, to understand that when public officers abuse office, misappropriate, and I'm using this word misappropriate very carefully, by suggesting that I am the one who has delivered this project when I am not the one who delivered it, Mr. Speaker, in my view, that is misappropriation. I am actually pretending, lying to the public, that by my power and by my finances, I have delivered a project.